Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April 2nd of 2024. My name is Fran Kelleher. I am a commissioner with the Housing Opportunities Commission of Montgomery County and chair the Administrative and Regulatory Committee. I would like to thank you for joining us to observe this afternoon's public hearing on the submission of HOC's fiscal year 2025 5-year Public Housing Agency plan, which we will submit to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Today's meeting is being conducted both in person and virtually. In accordance with federal regulations, the FY 2025 5-year Public Housing Agency plan was posted for public comment on February 16th, 2024, as well as information about this public hearing. The fiscal year 2025 5-year Public Housing Agency plan and all supporting documents were made available to the public via HOC's website, as well as being available at HOC's administrative offices. The public notice included instructions on how to participate in this public hearing. Staff provided the Resident Advisory Board with the proposed updates to the fiscal year 2025 5-year Public Housing Agency plan and received their endorsement in a letter. This public hearing was publicly announced via publication in both the Washington Post and Washington Hispanic on February 16th, alerting the public to the availability of this public hearing. This hearing is the culmination of the required public comment period. HOC is proposing the submission of the fiscal year 2025 5-year Public Housing Agency plan to Housing and Urban Development. The purpose of this plan is to inform HUD, residents, and the public of HOC's mission for serving the needs of low-income and very low-income families and the agency's strategy for addressing those needs. The plan updates HUD on HOC's public housing and housing choice voucher program activities. The Commission and HOC staff look forward to continuing to work with the public to ensure that HOC satisfies its affordable housing goals. At this point, I would like to turn the discussion over to introduce Elliot Rule, who is a Management and Compliance Analyst in HOC's Compliance Division, to summarize the FY 2025 5-year Public Housing Agency plan. Thank you, Mr. Rule. Your mic, please.
Good morning and thank you. For the record, my name is Elliot Rule. I'm a Management and Compliance Analyst with HOC's Compliance Division. I'm here today to discuss HOC's fiscal year 2025 5-year Public Housing Agency plan. Can move to the next slide, please. The Quality Housing and Work Responsibility Act of 1998 requires public housing agency plans to inform HUD, residents, and the public on plans to serve the needs of low and very low income families. The plan focuses primarily on HOC's public housing and housing choice voucher programs. This year, HOC is submitting its fiscal year 2025 5-year plan, which covers the period of fiscal year 2025 through 2029. The 5-year plan sets forth HOC's mission, goals, and objectives for the 5-year period covered, as well as the progress HOC has made towards meeting its goals for the preceding 5-year period of fiscal year 2020 through 2024. Subsequent annual plans will provide updates to this 5-year plan. Next slide, please. I'm going to highlight HOC's main goals and objectives over the covered 5-year period. For agency goals include development and delivery of affordable housing through acquisition, renovation, and new construction by leveraging creative financing solutions. This includes HOC's collaboration with Montgomery County government, which created a $100 billion revolving housing production fund expected to create approximately 6,000 new housing units over 20 years. HOC is exploring new ways to use local funding to expand housing subsidies, and HOC seeks to bolster its federally funded Fatherhood Initiative program. Next slide, please. Under its public housing program, HOC previously converted all of its public housing units to more efficient forms of HUD subsidy and continues to administer the updated subsidies. HOC's public housing program remains open to facilitate the use of HUD's Fair Cloth to RAD program on future developments. The first of such projects will be Springvale Terrace, for which HOC will provide up to 48 subsidies. Next slide, please. HOC's Housing Resources Division under the Housing Choice Voucher Program is currently implementing updates to the Housing Opportunity Through Modernization Act of 2016, or HOPMA, as well as the new national standards for physical inspection of real estate, inspection standards set to replace the current housing quality standards. The Housing Resources Division is continuously seeking to expand its Housing Choice Voucher and project-based voucher portfolio and monitors HUD notices of funding availability for such opportunities. Next slide, please. In terms of other affordable housing opportunities outside of HOC's Housing Choice Voucher and public housing programs, HOC's Real Estate Development Division has 4 projects in the pipeline, which will provide a total of 634 affordable units. Additionally, HOC's Wheaton Gateway project is expected to deliver 770 units, but the project is in the early stages and the affordability component has yet to be determined. Over the previous 5-year period of fiscal year 2020 to 2024, HOC was able to make substantial progress in providing affordable housing opportunities throughout the county and supportive services to its customers. Under its public housing program, as mentioned earlier, HOC converted all of its previous public housing subsidies to more efficient forms of subsidy through HUD's Rental Assistance Demonstration, or RAD program. This included Section 8 project-based rental assistance and project-based voucher subsidies. The conversion included 877 units over 11 properties, and HOC continues to administer these subsidies. Next slide, please. Under the Housing Choice Voucher Program, HOC currently has a program baseline of 7,770 vouchers, which includes 860 project-based vouchers. HOC also has an additional 330 project-based vouchers, which are granted through RAD and HOPMA and are separate from our baseline. HOC's project-based voucher program highlights the addition of 268 project-based vouchers to its portfolio over the previous 5-year period, as well as the conversion of 100 vouchers to project-based vouchers based on local need. HOC's tenant-based voucher program was awarded 185 new vouchers, primarily for families experiencing homelessness. Next slide, please. HOC received special HUD approval to increase its payment standards above the normal limits for the years of 2023 and 2024 in order to reduce rent burden and allow families the greatest access to high-cost areas. During 2022, HUD required all public housing agencies to update their family self-sufficiency action plans, which included mandatory and discretionary regulation updates. During 2023, HOC updated its Violence Against Women Act, or VAWA policy, to include emergency VAWA transfers under the Housing Choice Voucher Program. Next slide, please. In terms of other affordable housing opportunities outside of HOC's public housing and Housing Choice Voucher programs, HOC was able to preserve, create, and upgrade approximately 1,259 affordable housing units during the last 5 years. Next slide, please. Other accomplishments include weathering the COVID-19 pandemic and improving on operations post-pandemic. This included adopting 28 COVID-19 waivers through the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act. HOC's Housing Resources Division worked assiduously to increase its utilization rate to 98%. And HOC's Resident Services Division was able to continue to provide supportive services to its customers, including educational programs for youth and health and wellness programs for adults and the elderly. HOC's federally funded Fatherhood Initiative program was able to meet its enrollment targets for the period of fiscal year 2020 to 2023 and is on track to meet their goals for fiscal year 2024. HOC looks forward to working with the public and improving on ways to provide affordable housing opportunities and supportive services to the community in the future. I'll be glad to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you. Are there any witnesses at the public hearing who wish to make statements or comments on the fiscal year 2025 5-year Public Housing Agency plan? Having no witnesses that would like to speak, I would like to at this time to thank everyone who has participated in this public hearing And at this time, HOC has received no public comments via US mail or email on their fiscal year 2025 5-year public housing agency plan, other than its endorsement by the Resident Advisory Board, which we have received in writing. Thus, the public hearing is now complete, and the record, which has been open for 30 days, is now closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.